Hello, this is János. It's Real World Audio. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and if you are returning, welcome. So today I'm going to talk about bass response, and specifically the low frequency output of single driver speakers, especially Voigt pipes. And I'm doing this because I want to recap a few things, and this is one of my previous videos that I made. When did I made it in June this year. It feels to me that I made this video 3 years ago. It's to me it seems like it's been ages. So much happened to me since then. Wow, only in June. Anyway, so in this video I was talking about Cube Audio and Sonido, and also Fostex drivers and other drivers for single driver speakers. And mainly this video, a lot of the content was about the bass response of these Voigt pipes and what you can expect from them. And recently I just got an excellent comment on it from Nagy András, and I would like to reflect. Actually, I'm going to like his comment because I think it's really good. And if you read it, when you read it, at the first read, it will look like as if he's saying something different than what I'm saying. But for those of you who have seen more of my videos, exact what he is saying here, like especially the second half of his, I say the exact same things. And so there's absolutely no dichotomy between what he's saying and what I'm saying. And what I'm doing now is, for those of you, and for András as well, who haven't seen my other videos when I talk about these things that he mentions, so now I'm creating this video for those of you who want to decide that you want like really strong low-end response, that whether these pipes, Voigt pipes with these drivers, are for you, or you want to look for somewhere else. Because there's no simple answer that yes, they have excellent 25 Hertz and that's the end of the world. There's a whole lot to it. Life is not so easy. If that would be easy, we would have one type of loudspeaker, and all of the other companies would be already bankrupt long ago, and that was the only thing being made on the planet, and it would be super cheap, ubiquitous everywhere. No, what we have today is a large confusion of thousands of companies pushing millions of products, and no one is any the wiser what's happening. And that's why I created this channel, to help you guide towards what you want to reach. Because the big thing is what I've been saying in all of my videos, and I think I have not emphasized this in this video, certainly because of space limitations. I cannot say everything in a single video, otherwise my videos would be like 10 hours long each of them, and just for telling the basics. So the big difference and why you want to and how you want to choose your speakers depends on 3-4 main things. Number one or number zero is your hearing, and here András is here. This is something that gives us the hint why he wrote this post, and this is also why I am making this video, to make everyone aware of this who is not aware yet, who hasn't seen my videos before. Is that so I'm going to read this out to you, that I have to start from here. In my 20 years while into audio, I have been shown a lot of very high-end gear with the premise that I'm going to love it. Well, they had a few things in common: too much treble and lack of bass. Yes, some of them genuinely managed to go deep, but it was rather shelved output, so kind of, yes, it was present but very faint. And actually, that's why I started making my cube audio videos, because this is also my experience that for single driver speakers, yes, some of them extend very deep, but it's shelved and they drop. And that's why the cube audio is different, because they manage to hold it up at a really substantial level, to the level that you feel that your room is energized, that I never felt with any single driver speakers, because their output at the sub 30 hertz is just not strong enough to convey that type of feeling. And now, so yes, I 100% agree with you, András, that for single driver speakers, these 8-inch woofers, 8-inch single drivers, they, when put in the proper cabinet, they can produce really deep bass. Not all do, just a minority of them do. The ones that I built for my friends and myself with the purpose to go that deep, I think all of them do that. But when I seen like others, other single driver speakers, a lot of them don't even go near that range. Most of them just like below 100 hertz, almost nothing. So you really have to know what you are doing to get that deep extension from a single driver speaker. But sometimes you just get it from dumb luck. So for me it was partly dumb luck, because the very first single driver speaker I built was this, and as it turned out, later on I've been building others and more, but this is the one that has the deepest bass extension. So sometimes you can luck out on dumb luck, and that's why I have been recommending my Voigt pipes. For those of you who want to build Voigt pipes, just try out this, because this is the dumbest dumb luck you can find. And if you want speakers that go deeper and stronger in a single driver setup, you might spend 2 decades before you find one, or maybe you have even dumber dumb luck and you can find one that goes deeper and stronger the next day. Who knows? Varietas delectat, as the Latins said back then. But anyway, so I started making these videos about cube audio because for me this was an extreme shock what I experienced with the low response with these drivers. Is just I never thought that single driver speakers can do the sub 30 hertz range with such authority and power. However, as András said below, that he is mentioning isobaric subwoofers and excursion and SPL, and yes, if your purpose is you want to create like a trance party, or like for trance techno music or something like that, and you want that pumping, that you know, like the harsh reality in your eyes type of deep bass to you know, to have your house fall apart on you, then yes, for that you need those big isobaric woofers. I mean, the isobaric cabinet, the woofers in the big isobaric cabinet. But here I have to stop all the horses before they gallop away into nothingness. Is that, what is it that you want? Because if you have those proper cabinets to produce enough SPL, it might not give you the quality. It will give you the quantity, but might not give you the quality of the bass that you are looking for. You will have no problem cranking up the volume and playing at any SPL you want. playing in a large room is no problem. With these, what I can share, what I'm summarizing now, because I talked about this in many videos before, is that with these Voigt pipes, with these cube audio drivers, in the 4-meter by 6-meter room that they are, you see them right here in this video, in this room it extends down to 25 hertz, and it's like a strong 25 hertz. How can I say that? I did like a sine wave sweep, and at 25 hertz it was like really loud, super energetic, and it was not stressed out. However, what was the SPL level of that? I did not crank it up like crazy, so not at that level where you would play an isobaric driver at 25 hertz, maybe like pushing like 120 dB. No, nothing like that. Maybe like at 90 dB or something. And sure, for many of you that would seem like, yeah, that sounds very faint. And this is where I also have to open everyone's eyes to that harsh reality, that my ears and your ears are different. And I'm not just talking about Andras's ears and my ears, but every single human's ears. And now I'm going to share with all of you the test that you can make on your own, and this will tell you whether you will love the deep bass of the Cube Audio Voigt Pipe and say that this is the best bass I ever heard, best deep bass, or you would love the isobaric sound and say this is the best bass I ever heard. And those two types of people with those very different kind of hearing would each say that like, for example, me, I do say that the bass from the Voigt Pipe, like when I listen to a church organ reproduced by this or kettle drums reproduced by this, is a lot better than I heard from any subwoofer systems. And sure, the subwoofer systems can play much louder, but the 3D imaging aspect of the bass is rubbish. Speed, the speed of the deep bass is not as good as I'm hearing here. Harmonic content of any subwoofer system compared to a single driver bass is vastly inferior, but that's only when you have really good hearing for the frequencies which are really low. And if you don't have hearing, that your ears are sensitive enough for the bass to appreciate them coming from a single driver speaker, then you will think that it just cannot produce the bass. The harsh reality is actually that it can, but you cannot appreciate them because your ears and the brain processing the sound just don't transmit you the information that's there in the room. You are missing it out, and that might not be your problem. What I noticed as an audiophile with 3+ decades and having audiophiles with that much and longer experience around me, that there were some of my buddies who started out with subwoofers and they were really pushing the level up, and by now their hearing is gone. They can't hear anything, most of them. And at that time they couldn't hear that soft low frequency, and now they have trouble hearing even the loud low frequencies. And my hearing was kind of okay even 30 years ago, and since then I've been training my ears to be able to hear those soft sounds better and better. And now when I'm 47 years old, I can hear the low frequencies and I can appreciate them a lot better than when I was 25 years old. And I can also hear and appreciate much higher frequencies. I just did yesterday a sound test, like a hearing test for myself, like playing like sine waves on my computer, and I of course I make a whole video about it. But even as of yesterday, I have no problem telling a 20 kilohertz sound from a 19.8 kilohertz sound. They sound different for my ear and I can spot them easily. if you are playing, okay, like play one or play the other, I can tell, are you playing the same sound or is a different one? Yeah, it's that's a little higher pitch than the other. So for me, as a side benefit of the Voigt pipes and not doing that harsh reality type of sound, is that it allows your ears to develop through the decades and appreciate it more and more. So you might be saying that, Janos, this is all rubbish, but what is your baseline? My baseline for deep bass is actually church organ. So I'm a kind of a church organ aficionado, and I grew up basically listening to Baroque church organs in Europe, like intravenously. And that's my comparison. So when I'm listening to music, listening to recordings, I do not compare one CD to the other or one digital stream to another or an LP to or whatnot, but what I'm hearing, I'm comparing it to my experience of the real thing. And the closest experience to the real thing to me comes from the Voigt Pipe system. And also now my Altex, the voice of Lancelot, can do as well. And I just have to just share with you guys that the voice of Lancelot is actually a development from the Voigt Pipe. So when you apply the Voigt Pipe principle to Altex drivers, that's how it will look like. And yes, it's very, very different, but I started from how to transform the Voigt Pipe into an Altex system. So that's the continuation of it. So and for my ears, what I'm hearing from the Voigt Pipe, how it renders the bass of a church organ, is the closest to the real thing. And yes, when you have an isobaric system that can play a lot louder, but to my ears that is a very crude representation and not faithful to the real organ. In SPL level, yeah, it's closer, but in quality it's nowhere near. From here, quality yes, but quantity no. And it is your choice. Do you want the sound pressure level? Do you want quantity or do you want quality? They don't come together. Well, in the voice of Lancelot they come together. So if you want like a church organ rendered at the volume you hear there, then with the voice of Lancelot it's still not the same, but you get closer with that. But with regular systems you go like the most extravagant subwoofered system, you will get sound pressure, but you won't have that harmonic content that you have with the European Baroque organs. It's not happening. You don't have that freedom of speed, that instantaneous, that 3D, that when you have like really good low frequency integration into the sound, then the bass becomes a living entity, and it's not just SPL, not it's just sounds, random sounds bouncing around, but it's like the music gains soul. And that's what happens when you listen to that church organ right there, and that can be reproduced in your living room as well. And now I'm finally sharing with you that test that I promised, how you can tell which you are. And there's no right or wrong answer. that's what our abilities are. I'm not saying that, you know, Andras is wrong. No, his hearing is like that, and that's it. So that's why what he's saying, that you need that when he heard his isobaric subs, for him that is closer to real, because that's how his brain puts the sound together. And what I'm saying is that when your brain is like that, you need to go that route to keep you happy. And when your brain works like mine, then you need to go the Voigt Pipe way to keep you happy. And if you get your wires crossed and pick the system from the opposite camp, you will not be happy, because either the quality won't be right for your ears or the quantity won't be right. And when your hearing is such that you don't hear the soft deep bass, if it's played soft, then you think, oh, this is too soft, not good enough. In that case, if you crank up the volume, you will not notice that it's falling apart on the harmonic scale. It won't be noticeable to you, so you will be happy with it. But if you have that kind of sensitive hearing, then you will notice that it's falling apart. And that's why when you just read reviews online or people talking about that, one person always is set in either or of these hearing potentials, and they are sharing their singular point of view, and we are getting confused because you hear one and then you hear the other. Now who's right? No one's right. The right answer is that both of them are correct, but you have to figure out which camp you belong to. And now I'm truly sharing how you can figure out. Go to a jazz concert, and probably you have to go to several jazz quartets, and go to one where the person plays the upright bass, the upright double bass, and then listen to one where the upright double bass is amplified through a PA system. When he has the amp plugged, and you don't hear the bass, but you hear the solid state amp pumping out something similar as what the double bass would play, but like a 20 dB louder volume. And you can tell right away. Every jazz fan knows whether they like the unamplified double bass or the amplified one. And for me, I prefer the unamplified one. And when it's unamplified, it's super quiet. But if you have good hearing, like for me, I rather take it quiet, but with amazing harmonic content, amazing tonality. Is just wonderful. It's rich, it's organic, it's kind of like an orgasmic experience. But for those of you who can't hear it, you need to plug that amplifier in it. But I need to share with you that when you plug that amp, whatever that amp cranks out is horse manure compared to the unamplified bass. And but if you can't hear it, you have no other choice, but you have to plug in that amp. And that's why there's no single solution. One size shoe does not fit everyone. You have to figure out your shoe size as far as bass goes and find out what is it that you need. Because for those of you or those of us who want that extra amplification for the bass instruments, your hearing is such that your hearing is desensitized to low sound pressure sounds. And it means that for you, the enjoyment of music starts much louder than for a person who can hear soft sounds. So someone who can hear soft sounds, for you, it means that you don't need to play music so loud. You can play it quieter because you can enjoy it quieter. And it also means that most of the commercial audiophile systems won't be good for you because they are voiced so that they sound impressive when you really crank them up really loud. And when you start turning the volume down, it just dies. So that was one reason why I just left the commercial route, because it's like I am one of those who can enjoy music when it's quieter. And for me, like when the sound pressure levels are really high, I am really sensitive to high frequencies. If they have problems with them, if your amp is clipping at the high frequencies, I just run away. And I really can hear like the faintest amount of clippings at the high frequencies, and when there's a solid state amplifier involved, if you put it to concert levels even, then it's guaranteed. It's just no, I can't take it for more than a few minutes. And it's for you to decide, do you need a system that plays super loud? In that case you need isobaric subs, or a solution like that with subwoofers, and depending on your hearing you might want to level them even louder than the rest of the music to give you what you want. So audio is really about listening to what you want to listen to, how it sounds good to you, what your ears are designed for you, and also keep in mind what you want in the future, because all of us, regardless of how your hearing is right now, it's not going to stay the same for the rest of your life. We have two choices. It's either becomes better or it becomes worse. And it's not just aging. So I'm just really upset with the BS that's online, that as we age our hearing just goes away, and that's not true. For there's some aspects of it that yes, it's eroding a little bit year by year. Yes, that's true. It's tear and wear, genetics, yes, environmental effects, yes. But when you put effort into it, into the cognitive part, it's not what we hear and what you think that you hear of the music is not what the ears are transmitting to your brain. What we consciously know about is just a fraction of the information that our ears are receiving. So a person who have grave hearing problems with his ears, so physically he can experience very little frequencies, but he has trained his mind to process that information extremely well, he's extremely cognizant of what he's hearing, will be able to enjoy a lot more of the music and be able to describe a lot more of what you are hearing, compared to a person who has an intact hearing but no awareness whatsoever of what they are hearing. And that's also, I think, a key consideration of how you build your stereo system, is that it's going to define your path. And when you go towards the Voigt Pipe path, it's going to automatically set you in the path of self-improving your hearing. And that's how you are going to be happy with it, when you consciously know that the system is helping you to improve your hearing, and it will allow you to put together a system that you can play quieter and quieter and have the exact same enjoyment of it as you have today with that reasonably loud sound. Of course, it's unable to provide very high SPLs of very low frequencies. Also, I mentioned in another video that even though in this room they go down to strong 25 Hz, but they cannot do lower than that. But I have to add that it might be my amplifier as well, because those amps cannot reach 20 hertz. The output transformer is way too limited for that to. I am even shocked that it can do 25 hertz anyway. But when I moved it downstairs to my much bigger living room and a lot more capable amplifiers that can go down to 11 hertz without significant dB. I think it's like minus 1 dB at 11 hertz. I think that's what I measured my ampex is. So they for sure have no problem playing at 20 hertz. But I noticed that shelving that András was talking about in the comments is much more pronounced. So in that huge room, the sub 60 hertz region is falling off much more than they do in the smaller living room here. I mean the smaller bedroom here upstairs where the speakers are at the moment. However, downstairs they produce wonderful 20 hertz. So when I listen to a church organ, it sounds more glorious and richer when I listen to it downstairs. When I listen to upstairs here in the smaller room, it energizes the room more, but it loses that gorgeous richness that extra few lower hertzes provide. So if this is for you, that you can enjoy the sound without pushing the SPL limits and without pushing your tinnitus limits, then the Voigt pipes will be amazing for you. Amazing. For all my years, I appreciated them as the most practical and most amazing speakers to faithfully reproduce the beauty of church organs. And if it's something for you that you listen to church organs for the tonal purity, the harmonic richness, that ethereal just amazingness that's coming from them, and you look at them as the queen of the instrument. In Europe, where they were created, they are called the queen of the instruments. In the United States, the builders started calling them the kings of the instruments, and the US organs are built to have much louder sound pressure, but their harmonic content is kind of broken compared to the European instruments. So if you subscribe to enjoying organs the American way, you need the isobaric subs, and you won't be losing much of the harmonic content because it's non-existent anyway. But if you want to enjoy like Arp Schnitger organs, he was the famous builder who built Bach's organ, then yeah, you will be very much rewarded with cube audio drivers in Voigt pipes. So I hope this long-winded little bit of presentation helps somewhat to, so that you can deliberate more what will be a more workable choice for you to give the bass that you desire. And there's no right or wrong. Just figure out how your hearing works, what is it that you are hearing, and go your route, go your way. Don't go the other way. I have videos where I talk about both of these ways. There's other channels, other advice talking about each of them. Tell it for yourself. What is the advice you need? Which is the path you must take, and walk the path. So thank you for listening. Thank you, András, for your wonderful comment. Bye team. Bye bye.